Ba'd. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us the opportunity to come to His house. We ask Allah to accept our ibadah and forgive our shortcomings. We ask the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the khair and protection of this day and protect us from all types of evil. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Today is the day of Jum'ah, and every Friday morning we remind ourselves some of the virtues that are mentioned for this blessed day, so that we are able to maximize the benefit, understand the value and virtue, and try to implement it with having the understanding of that reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has preserved for us. One of the virtues of this day of Jum'ah is having to prepare yourself to come for the Salah, which is made a special Salah of the entire week. Salat al-Jum'ah is a very special Salah in many different ways. It has been reduced to 2 rak'ah. It has been made to be recite Quran and recitation loud. And that doesn't happen to any other Salah of the day during the entire week. When a person, he is coming for Jum'ah, there are two things that he needs to keep in mind as far as the virtue is concerned. The first is a person leaving his house to come for Jum'ah. It is like a person, he is going out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because that ibadah itself, it's a war against shaitan. So when you're coming to Jum'ah, it's a act of coming out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is a great honor that Allah Azza wa Jal has given. Because the person who takes a step towards in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jal not only makes forgiveness of his sins, but Allah makes Jannah, the path of Jannah, easy for him. Allah makes the path of Jannah easy for him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves his body from the fire of hell. So that virtue is applied to the day of Jum'ah based on Imam Bukhari's opinion, as he mentions in his Sahih in Babu Salat al-Jum'ati. From the virtues of Jum'ah is al-Mashyu ila al-Jum'ah, to go towards Jum'ah Salah. And Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah mentions the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that whoever goes in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal and any dust or particle touches his body, Allah makes the fire of hell forbidden upon that area of the body. So this is how important it is for a person to be in that mindset when he's coming for Salat al-Jum'ah. The second virtue that we find in the teachings of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam for those people who are designated, who are making an effort to come to Jum'ah Salah, is an ibadah of Hajj. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Al-Jum'atu Hajjul Masakin aw Hajjul Fuqara." وقال سعيد بن المسيب رحمه الله في شرح هذا الحديث: للجمعة أحب إلي أن أحج تطوعا. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that going for Salatul Jum'ah, it's a Hajj for a person who can afford to go for Hajj, or upon whom Hajj is not obligatory. Now imagine, for you to go for Hajj, you need at least 20K in your pocket, which is extra from everything else. Now for coming for Jum'ah, you don't need 20K in your pocket. You just need to make effort. You need to make, wudu or ghusl, and come to the house of Allah to perform Jum'ah. This ibadah of coming to Jum'ah is been given resemblance as if you're going for Hajj in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And in the commentary of this hadith, Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib rahimahullah was a great tabi'i and a great muhaddith. He mentions, I would prefer to go for Jum'ah rather than going for an optional Hajj. Right? Because, why? because you can do that Hajj every week. And the other Hajj, you can only do it once a year. But this Hajj, you can do it every week. So that's why it is it is achievable, or it is easy to achieve than the one that is done over there, because that requires a lot of effort. So that's why when you're coming for Jum'ah today, inshallah, have that concept in your mind. You know, one of the things that gives reward and removes sins is having the conscious of the reward that Allah is giving you at the time when you're doing that ibadah. And to feel that I am receiving this reward, I am receiving this virtue, I'm having sins coming out from my life. This is called to have to do that ibadah with having full conviction and understanding. Because many of times we do things, like mashallah, we've been coming for Jum'ah so many days, so many weeks of our entire life. But to do it with that concept, with that understanding, and to do it each time with that concept, it is a different feeling. And that's what we need to feel when we come for Salatul Jum'ah, that I'm going to Baytullah for Hajj as if, or I'm going in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the true understanding. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our efforts. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka.